Alright, so in this video, I'm gonna cover what I think are the three most important basic skills to have down as a white belt. You need these three in order to get the match going and not just waste your time in rolling. I'm gonna divide this video up into three parts where I show each move quickly, and I'm gonna tell you how to train it in sparring afterwards, so you can go out and use it against resistance right away. The good thing about all these three skills is that it's positions you can get yourself in sparring very easy, and this way it's easy to train it against resistance. When I divide these up, have in mind that this is the order I would like you to train them. So you have to start with the mount escape, then side control escape, and then opening the close guard as the last one. Alright, so the first move is gonna be the standard elbow escape from mount. I already covered this on my channel, so I will put a link up in the corner where you can go and see the full video. But now I'm just gonna give a short introduction to the move. So Natalia has me mount here. Okay. What I need is her hands on the mat. So if she's already put her hands on the mat, this is great. If she hasn't, I can put a frame across her belly here and across, and put an arm inside of her knee here, and I can lift my hips and bump her to her hands. Once I've gotten her hands to the mat, I'm gonna look to expose an angle. If I have my right elbow inside here, I'm gonna escape to the right side. I'm gonna scrape my leg along the mat to push her ankle outside of her knee. When that's the case, I can catch with my heel and collect the foot. Once I have the foot, I can scissor my legs out. So I'm still holding on to the leg here, but I'm scissoring my legs out. Now I can use that to lift her knee off the mat. Once the knee is off the mat, I can push with either my elbow or my hand on the knee and put her into half guard. As soon as I get this, I'm gonna plant my feet, move my hip to the outside as I look to the inside, and put a frame in and get back to half guard. So from another angle, I'm here, in front here, frame across the hip. First frame you put in. Second frame, this one supports the hand, my elbow goes inside of her knee. I bridge to make her put her hands on the mat. Now I scrape her foot outside of her knee. From here I can use my heel to pick up her ankle and lock my legs. Once I have the legs locked, I open my legs, but I'm still pinching on here, and I scissor to lever the knee off the mat. Once the knee is levered off the mat, I can use my elbow or my hand to push it in. Once I pushed it in, I'm gonna hip escape out and go to a half guard here where I have her leg hooked. So this is the first move you should master as a white belt. You gotta get good at this, otherwise you're just gonna get stuck in mount. And when you get stuck in mount, you're just a victim. If you put your hands any other places than across the hips here, it's just a matter of time before someone will submit you by Americana or taking it back. So don't waste time in the bottom of mount. Get these frames, try to catch that angle and get out. This will be the first mount escape you should master. You can see more, I'll link a video to where I covered more extensively, but this is a skill you gotta have down first. Okay. All right, so you just saw the move, the outside elbow escape from mount. Now, how can we train this? Maybe we don't have a partner to train with outside of regular training hours. No, we don't have anyone to drill with, so maybe we can only practice this in sparring. I always encourage you to try moves you've drilled in sparring to try to get better at it. So what we want to do is we want to go and we want to find that position as much as we can in sparring. Okay, so first way to do it, easiest way is to start by pulling guard and inviting your partner to pass your guard. So me and Natalia, we start the roll. As soon as you slap hands, I sit to guard. She wants to come forward and pass. I'm not gonna fight her too much. I'm basically gonna let her get in and get to side control, but I wanna make sure I keep my elbows in tight so I'm not getting submitted right away. From here, I just keep my arms in defensive position and I just straighten my legs so it's gonna be easy for her to mount. She'll most likely take the bait and go to mount. As soon as she does, I'm gonna put in my frame, throw in my elbow. If I need to bump her, I'll bump her, and then I'll look to capture the angle and go for my escape. So keep your elbows in tight as soon as they pass your guard, and straighten your legs so it's easy for them to mount you. You want to make it easy, and you want to save your energy to the critical point where you can actually train the position and the move you're working on. Okay, so make the battle for them to get to mount very easy, and as soon as they get there, you spend all your energy in performing the move correctly. Another place, let's say maybe she pulls guard first. Okay, now I have to give up a sweep. So I want to go in again, elbows tight, head tight. I don't want to get guillotined anything, and I'm basically gonna put my weight onto her, so it's gonna be easy for her to sweep me. I'm not gonna fight it. I'm gonna let her get on top. Let it move back a bit here. I'm gonna let her get on top and give her that mount. As soon as I do, put in the frames, and it's time to work the escape. Last scenario, some academies, people just wrestle from the knees. It's really tame in my opinion, but it happens a lot. Here, as soon as you slap hands, just maybe push into her, let her push into you, and just get your feet out of the way, let her pass your guard, and we're back into the same stuff. Okay, so you basically are looking to pull mount. You can do it obvious, maybe if your partners have big egos and they're really mad at you giving them mount for free, maybe add a little bit of resistance and kind of trick them into getting to mount you. Okay, it's a good position for them. They will be successful a lot of the time, especially in the beginning. But the more you allow yourself to get in this position and train the escape, the more confident you're gonna be with it, and the less of training time you're gonna spend in the bottom mount, just bridging back and forth, wasting your time, okay, getting tired, getting frustrated, and getting easily submitted. So please have this in mind, be patient, throw your ego out of the window and get to the bottom of mount so you can train this skill. All right, so the next skill you should master after getting good at that standard elbow escape from the bottom of mount is you want to have a really good elbow escape from side control. Side control is another point where you can get stuck a lot and you can just be there for many minutes at a time, wasting a lot of energy if you don't know what to do. So this is the escape I recommend you do from side control, which is the standard elbow escape. It looks like this. So Natalia has me in side control, she has my head control, and she has an underhook. What I'm looking to do is I'm looking to swim a frame in front of her neck. If she has her head down and ring tight, I want to bridge to move her head by stretching my arm and swimming this frame in here, digging my fingers down on the shoulder blade. I want to frame her hip also. So if your arm's stuck here, make sure you wiggle it out and get this frame in by the hip. I always recommend getting this frame first by the hip and then the second here by the neck. To make more space with this neck frame, I want to open my elbow, which puts pressure on her throat and gives me some space so she's not that well connected chest to chest here. From here, I'm going to plant my foot, my left foot in this case, and I'm going to hip escape out. So I'm going to move my hip out, move my hip out, move my hip out. When I have space, I want to slide my shin in front of the crease of her hip here. When my elbow and knee is connected, I'm basically out. From here, I can get hands to the inside, swim space, get my knees to the inside, and start to recover to whatever guard I like, whether it be close guard half guard, or maybe butterfly guard. Okay, that part is up to you. So again, from another angle, here. First frame is the frame by the hip. Move your body, get this forearm to the hip. Second is you want your forearm frame in front of her neck. So if there's space, you just swim it in. If there's not space, you bridge and extend your arm to move her head. And as we race back, I swim this arm in. Fingers stick down, and here it's all about lifting the elbow. So if I feel her pressing in, I lift the elbow to make space. Now I want to plant my foot that's closest to her head. I want to step it out, and I want to hip escape and get more and more and more to my side as I make space between our hips. Then I want to insert my shin to her hip bone and connect my knee and elbow in here. Once I've gotten that in, I can start to push. Get 2 arms inside if I need, push. And make space to throw in the inside leg for either half guard, close guard, or sit up and get into a butterfly guard. So that's a basic elbow escape from side control. The whole point of this is basically to move the hip out and connect knee and elbow here to what we call a side guard. If you want to see more on that, I'm going to put a link up so you can see my original video on that and go more in depth. All right, so now we just saw the side control escape where I shrimped out and connected knee and elbow. How can we train this? Again, it's good to drill the moves, but we gotta go and try them live. So, best thing to do is pull side control. The easiest way to do it is, just as with the mount, is to start from guard. Okay, so I start seated on my butt, slap hands on Natalia, and right away, I'm just gonna let her come in. I'm gonna let her push in, and I'm just gonna move my legs out of the way and let her get to side control. Once we get here, if I can have my frames all in already, that's great. Now I can look to set everything up, shrimp out, and go right away into my side control escape. So as soon as she's passed to side control, I want to go into my escape. Not wasting time on guard retention, I'm going to let her get in, and as soon as she does, I'm going to look for my frames, and I'm going to look to shrimp out and go for it. If she happens to pull guard, one thing I can do is, again, I can just walk into a sweep, but I'm just going to make sure my elbows are in tight and my head is not exposed. Just by moving in, holding on to her, and basically letting her tip me over, it's going to give me the same result. Now, you want to make sure that when she gets up, that she doesn't go to mount this time, but that you go to some sort of side control here, and you can put your frames in and start the action. If you just both start on the knees with this ridiculous knee wrestling here, one very easy thing to do is you can take a collar tie and you can basically just lay on your side and let it come in. And now you can throw in your frames and start to get to work. Same point as with the mount escape, we basically want to pull side control. As soon as we get there, we want to start the escape, get it going, get it going. You're going to be stuck there in the beginning, it's going to suck, but with time and practice, you're going to get pretty good at this. And this will again make the way you spend your time in training way more efficient by focusing on a concrete goal and getting to train against different body types, different levels over and over and over again. It's going to be 2-3 weeks of just suck, but this is time well invested because this is an escape you're going to use your entire grappling career, from white to black belt, however far you get, okay? So spend time on this, accept the suck, find the frames, and find your way up. All right, so we made it to the last skill you should master as a white belt, and that's breaking the close guard. So this is the only one of the 3 where we're working from top. And this, in my opinion, should be your third choice after getting good at the mount escape first, getting good at the side control escape. Then the third one is getting out of close guard. And this is where a lot of beginners waste a lot of time. So let's cut to the chase here. If Natalia is down here, we get into close guard. So when I'm in close guard here, especially if you're a big, strong dude, you tend to get some pretty bad ideas and habits from here. And see, a lot of people think, well, maybe I can just push this arm down and I'm recountering. This is not a solid choice against someone who's good. There's a lot of ways to punish this. What if I just go up here and I throw in a cross face and I just try to choke her? It's not really gonna happen against someone with proper skill. If this works, it's probably because you're working with a very naive training partner, and probably because you're a lot bigger than them. It doesn't mean you're good at jiu-jitsu, and doesn't mean what you're doing is valid further down the line. It's probably just because you're a big bully. I'm just gonna be as blunt as possible. We don't wanna waste our time with this stuff. We wanna break open the close guard. We can't just sit here and wait for her to open it. Because if she's good at this position, she'll keep that guard closed and make sure that she doesn't give us the space to just pop out once she opens. So what we have to do from here is we have to get our hands to the inside so we're not getting pulled down to the mat. And we're gonna stand up, and from standing up, we can push her legs apart easier and break open the close guard, okay? So we start from here. We want a good posture, sitting up tall. We can also be down low. I want my hands on the inside here. So I either want it on her biceps, or I want my thumbs here by her shoulder, and then 4 fingers in the armpit. This way, when she tries to pull me down by pulling her knees to her chest, this frames against the floor. Same thing here, hands on the biceps. She tries to pull down here. It's not gonna happen. If I just put my hands on her ribs, if she has a good knee pull, if she really pulls her knee, she's gonna break me down. So hands on the ribs are not good. I use this as like a very temporary position until I can get my hands in here. Okay, I'm gonna line up, hands on the inside. From here, you wanna lean head over head. Now your legs become lighter. You're gonna step one foot up, other foot, and once you get to here, you wanna bring your hips forward and your head back here. Now there's pressure on the lock. I can go one hand on the knee, one hand close to the foot here, and I push off as I step a leg back to open. All right, and now I can start to work. So going back here, we're gonna show another angle in a moment. From here, make sure she's not controlling your hands. She's trying to grab your hands. You're hand fighting, looking to get your hands on the inside. You wanna go head over head. As soon as you get this, 1, 2. As you get here, you don't wanna hang out here. So you wanna bring your hips forward and your head back. Once you get to here, you wanna put pressure on the lock. So you can either post one hand on the knee, one on the shin. This is my preferred. Or you can throw a hand inside the lock. Once you do that, however you choose to do so, you take a step back as you put pressure on her legs to open the lock. As soon as you open the lock, make a distance, and now from here you can start to work. So, from another angle. Guys, girls, there's basically no good way to break open the guard from the knees. There is a Sao Paulo pass, it works for some people. There's a lot of people where it doesn't work for. This is the most consistent way to open the guard. Get your hands on the inside, head over head. 1, 2. From here, bring your hips forward. Make sure your shoulders are over your hips. Now there's pressure on this lock here. Turn your body, hand on the knee, hand on the shin, and I step a leg back to put pressure up and force the guard open. It's not her choice when the guard opens. It's when I put pressure on, it just simply won't break open the lock. Okay, so don't waste your time trying to do cute moves inside here. If it works, it's because your partner is bad or you're just a lot bigger and stronger than them. We want something that's consistent across all weight classes here. Get your hands to the inside, stand up, then you can put pressure on the lock and open it. All right, so now we're gonna train how to actually do this in practice, right? So again, it's always better if you can drill with a partner first, but you have to try it against full resistance. So if you can't positional spar this, you have to go out in the sparring room and look for this position. And this is definitely the easiest to do when you're on top, right? You have to be on top. So me and Natalia, we roll here. I'll hopefully look for her to pull guard, and I to be on top. Now, what I need to do is simply need to get in. So I can just walk in, making sure my elbows are in tight so I don't get triangled on the way or armbar on the way. And as soon as I walk in, here we are. If I start standing, I start from standing, whether she's seated or if she's on her back. It's pretty easy to get in here. So I can just step in, I can drop down on my knees, keep my elbows tight, and I just encourage her to lock a close guard. Okay, so let go. Any other position, like if you play guard, you have to sweep the person. It's not gonna be as easy, right? If you play guard, you have to sweep the person, get on top, and then get to this position. So this is one of the harder positions to train. You have to be on top, so you have to, if you start on bottom, you basically have to sweep the person and then walk into the close guard. If you're starting standing, you have to take them down and walk into the close guard. If you start draw wrestling here, knee wrestling is the pretty correct term. Start here, you have to basically drive into them and encourage them to pull guard. So this one is, of these three skills, it's the hardest to train, but it's still a lot easier than something super specific as a heel hook or something like that. So just look for being on top of close guard. And again, this should be your third priority after getting down the mount escape, after getting down the side control escape. Getting up in close guard is your third and last priority for these essential fundamentals before I feel like you should move on and then start looking at some more offensive moves.